It's time for Did You Watch It?
How does this show work? We watch what we like, we talk about what we watch, and maybe you'll like what you hear. I'm Liz.
And I'm Neil. Last night we watched the Chris Tells All episode of The Bachelor Season 19. The show aired on Sunday, February 15th, 2015. Here's what we thought about it. I've been saying it pretty much all week, but what a difference a year makes.
I know. It's so true. I know you and I were talking last night, and I'm positively irrecognizable for last year. I can say that about myself.
If you go back and you listen to the episodes that we did last year, and you were just so excited about the chance to convert me into this Bachelor fan.
Yeah, because it was a great show.
You were going to be my tour guide to the crazy.
Yeah.
And each week, you know, you looked forward and it's like, all right, we get to record and we get to watch and we get to talk about it.
So exciting.
And every conspiracy theory I presented to you was dashed on the rocks,
right?
Like a schooner in a storm, because
like,
your
how
faith
dare
and
you?
Your belief in what the Bachelor franchise had to offer was impenetrable.
Oh my gosh.
And now we fast forward a year and I'm ready. I'm prepared for what is about to befall me.
And I'm the one who's saying, dude, I don't know if I can do this. 2-hour episodes every week.
Man,
it's
just so funny. It is just so funny. I mean, you have bitched more about the 2-hour episode,
right,
than I have ever heard you.
Because it's not fun anymore. It stopped being fun. And now with like the 3 hours, you know, on Sunday, and then there's going to be 2 hours on Monday. That's 5 hours.
Yeah, I know. And it's going to back me up like way, way much trying to edit these shows. So we're just going to have to take it as slow as we can, as best as we can. And these people, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this whole Chris Tells All episode. Ugh. It's like,
I mean,
why?
I get it. I get what they were trying to do, right? They're trying to recoup some of the intense craziness and give America a chance to see him kind of uncensored and maybe ask some questions. Answer some questions.
No. They're milking. They're milking the commercial time and the money-making opportunities.
It's just unnecessary.
They could give a rip about whether or not Chris finds somebody during this little run because, as I've said, Ashley S. is proof positive that they really don't care about whether or not Chris finds love.
And yet, he was asking him, what about Ashley S? Like, why did you keep her? Like, it was all news to him, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm still wavering back and forth. I'm waffling between wanting to just believe the best in this show, like the fan that I am, and then just being pissed off.
I would lean toward the pissed off myself, only because I appreciate that Fearless Host shared with us some of Ashley S.'s audition tape.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing is, and yeah, she seems very normal. She seems, you know,
but she was
like
still
she
a little weird, even in the audition tape.
Tweaky, but you know, if you look at it completely out of context of what we already have seen of her, then yeah, you wouldn't expect that person to come in and just be totally full goose bozo on the show.
It just seemed like from the tape, maybe she was a little unpolished, maybe she was a little nervous. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Ditzy,
and you can write that off. You can absolutely write that off. However, the audition tape is not the only means by which they decide who gets on the show.
Right? They've got to go through the interview process.
There is an in-person interview process, and I'm sorry. The audition tape was completely under Ashley's control. So, of course, as you and I both know what the editing process can do, you can put your best face on and, you know, and it really doesn't take that much effort to accomplish.
Why, whatever are you talking about, Neil?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't we just turn the microphone on and just talk and it just gets put up there?
No, we don't. Because, you know, we have speech impediments.
Coughs.
There's various little things that we have to just We're just cleaning up.
Yeah.
We're respecting our audience.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing. I'm sorry. Once they get to the in-person interview casting part,
you can tell.
You can tell that the child, this child has a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know if our insurance covers it necessarily.
I don't know if we want to take that kind of risk.
Let's talk with ABC Standards and Practices and see if they're okay with this. And ABC says, what the hell? You guys are bringing in the money anyway, so go for it.
Lord.
So, yeah, there were too many people and too many processes between Ashley S. getting on this show. Everybody knew she was crazy.
Yeah.
The only person that didn't really know, but eventually figured it out, were the people in the house.
And Chris.
That's what I'm saying. The people in the house.
Yeah.
The talent didn't know how crazy she was because the producers didn't want them to know how crazy she was. Because, they want that spontaneous response. Because that's entertainment.
Sort of.
Start this thing out with Kelsey.
Oy.
Oh my God. Here's where she lost me. And she lost me very early, by the way. She lost me before she even showed up. But she really lost me when Fearless Host asked her if she thought that she was smarter than the other girls. She paused.
It was the longest pause ever. All I can say is she obviously had Olivia Pope coaching her. Because this was how to recoup Kelsey's reputation from the crazy person that she was.
Yeah, see, but the problem is she didn't recoup shit.
Well, I know. Her answers were just canned.
Yeah, any doubts, any trepidations about Kelsey being all that everyone thinks she is,
and
basically,
more.
That was based solely on what you saw, was absolutely cleared up. But the problem is, it did more to confirm everything we thought about her than it did to change our mind.
And how did you like when he asked her, when they were talking about the panic attack and how, whether or not it was fake or whatever, how did you like her answer?
Oh, God. First of all, when did she become a mental health professional?
Well, that's what she's always been.
I thought she was a guidance counselor.
No, she says mental health professional. That's how she kind of introduced herself. She's never said guidance counselor.
Well, you know what? That's what they put on the lower third when they introduced this cow. And that's what they put when she was one, because she was one of the pre-heifers. Okay. And
she was.
Yeah. And they interviewed her at, I guess, the school that she worked at. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Mental health professional? I don't think so.
Can you imagine her melding and molding the lives of our children?
Boo.
Please.
She could.
If she's the one who's a model for somebody to look up to, oh my gosh.
Okay. Ameliorated? Bitch, please. Okay? Yesterday, in my Google Now, I got a link to an article from the Inquisitor website basically saying that Sean Lowe has come to Kelsey's defense.
Really?
Yes.
Defending her behavior? Defending...
He was basically defending her as far as that whole thing about the story.
Oh, when she was saying, I love my story's awesome.
Exactly.
How do you defend that?
He said the producers can lead you. Basically, if you have a story, the show will do whatever it can do in order to play it up and possibly use it to create an entertaining presentation.
Yeah, but you don't say, okay, now say my story is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That was her. That was all her.
Yeah, the story was not the problem with Kelsey. Kelsey was the problem with Kelsey.
Retelling it and packaging it and using it basically for all that it's worth.
Exactly.
Ugh, she disgusts me.
She disgusts me too. As far as Farmer goes, he's traumatized.
He's totally traumatized.
Okay.
I don't think he had any idea. I mean, it's obvious from just the things that have happened where, like what we saw last week with him going back or talking to Kelsey and telling her what Ashley I had said. He just doesn't.
He does not know women.
He's got no game. He has no idea what he should say, what he shouldn't. I mean, you and I know you would never go back and tell the girl that somebody just said that.
You have to couch. You go, I heard from a fly on the wall.
Exactly. I think he's just in way over his head at this point. And I mean, talk about traumatized. I can see it.
He does not know women. And clearly he fully does not comprehend just how much the show is not set up for him to find a wife, but to simply provide entertainment.
Poor Chris. I really feel bad.
I used to feel bad. I don't.
You don't feel bad for Chris anymore?
I don't. He's getting paid.
I know, but don't. Okay, let me not go down that road because we know the answer.
He went through it the first time. I'm sorry. He went through it the first time with Andi. And so he knows kind of what's going on.
I just still want him to end up being happy. I do.
I want him to be happy too. Like I said, use this program as a jumping off point to find somebody in the real world.
In Arlington, honey, that is not going to happen.
Well, you can travel. The money that he's getting for this, I'm sure he'll be able to go any place he wants to.
I'm still holding out hope for one of my fave top 3. It's narrowing. It's quickly narrowing. Once we get to hometowns, I think the field of my favorites is going to be even more narrowed.
If I had to pick 3 right now, it would be Becca, Whitney, and Carly.
Yeah, my 3 too.
This review of the season, it's bad enough to have to sit through it the first time, but then to have to replay it.
To see the recap, yeah.
Oh, God, I need to fast forward.
I know. I wanted it to be over. And this is what I'm saying. Like, ultimately, this is what keeps coming to my head is, when is this going to be over? How sad is that?
What's even sadder is the fact that they dragged Andi's ass in here.
Oh, Neil.
To talk about.
This was bad.
Oh, my God.
I felt horrible for Andi.
Why did you feel horrible?
Because she's devastated.
Okay.
And I know you think she's acting, but that was some serious heartbreak.
Here we go. First of all the crying that she did in the very beginning meant that inevitably she got to talk less, which I was very happy about. Let me see if I understand the scope of the bullshit she's trying to sell us, okay?
Oh, Neil.
No. Okay, she comes on the show after she supposedly breaks up with Josh, and I'm using the air quotes. Personally, I think it happened closer to October or November when they couldn't get any work from that marketing agency in Atlanta that they signed up with after the Bachelor.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yes, okay. Now, here's Andi sitting with Fearless Host, and she is so overwhelmed, and she can't speak because she's crying, and she's upset and everything. We have to remember that this is the same Andi who, after Eric had died, didn't respond for an entire month, and then finally sent out a sad-ass tweet with an Instagram photo of him doing a backflip and, just send this little mealy-mouthed little comment. And then when Chris sat down with her in place of the rose ceremony where he was supposed to be eliminated, she didn't know what the hell to say. And this is like 3 months later.
Yeah, I hear you. You are totally entitled to your opinion, and we know you and I don't always agree. But when I saw her face, not so much the kind of crying where she was just clinging to her eyes, but at the end, when it was like snot and tears and
let me tell you,
the mouth and spit and everything, I was like, oh my gosh.
Let me tell you about that crying, okay? First of all, I don't think she was crying for Josh. I think she was crying about her lost careers, personally, but that's just me.
Oh, man.
All right. Yeah, I'm being brutal, okay? But see, here's the thing.
Oh, God.
This is why I like streaming. Because at about 38 minutes and 48 seconds, she wipes the tears from the cheek under her right eye, and then she drops her head slightly. Because of the reflection of the lights, you can still see that there are tears there. They cut to a wide shot of the two of them sitting together for less than 2 seconds. Nobody's moved. Then they cut back to Andi. Her head hasn't moved, but now there's no reflection.
Well, you know that they had to break for makeup and edit it, and maybe she said, look, we need to stop. I can't go on. For them to... Yes, you know that happened.
Really?
Yes, Neil.
Okay. So then her right cheek is now bone dry.
It's the editing and the makeup.
And she hasn't moved, okay? She says another sentence, then she reaches up to wipe that bone dry cheek.
Yeah, they've spliced it. You know they've spliced it.
All right, they spliced it, but then why would they have to splice it? Because
she's
truly heartbroken. I don't believe she's heartbroken. I believe that she's just be heartbroken. You got to show some feelings, girl. Come on, Andi, get it together.
Hey, here's the thing, though. Not just Andi. I want to see Josh in the same situation, and I want to hear what he has to say because he's not that good of an actor.
And Andi's definitely not an actress.
She's not an actress. I'm not saying she is, but I'm just saying, like we've seen Farmer Chris, not be able to like figure out what to say. I think Josh would be the same way. He'd be like, hey, it was hard, but it happened.
He's done. He is
done.
Andi is still contractually obligated to make her appearances until The Bachelorette starts filming again.
I think the whole thing is just awful, and I don't want to see anybody, fake or not, that heartbroken, that sad, that upset because your relationship is over.
Yeah, well, she could have just cried at home.
Well, and Chris Harrison didn't pull any punches. Like, he was asking her the tough questions. Like,
what
do you still,
questions?
I mean, if you've just broken up with someone, even if it's a month, and someone asks you, are you still in love with them? You would cry. I would cry. It would be raw. It would still be raw.
If we're talking about a relationship in the real world.
I'm just saying.
The fact that she selected somebody that lived 5 minutes away from her.
I know you've had an issue with that the whole time.
Yeah, I do. I'm
just saying, I think there is a lot
more work in here than just love, romance, and eventual nuptials. I'm sorry. This was marketing on their part. They were trying to turn this into something bigger, and it didn't work.
But it's still a broken engagement, and she's still heartbroken.
But what's that engagement based on? You know what? This is a dissolved business relationship. Just as a little postscript, we are going to be doing The Amazing Race,
Yay!
Season 26.
So excited. Now I'm excited about.
And the premiere episode is going to be on Wednesday, February 25th.
Okay.
It's going to be a 90-minute. And then they will go back to their regular Friday at 8 schedule. So there will be 2 episodes during that week.
But their episodes are typically only an hour.
Exactly.
That we can handle.
As God intended. I'm just saying. Chris told all, but I don't know if I really wanted to hear it.
The only things I can say is I could have done without seeing Kelsey again.
Yes.
And I just wanted to hand Andi a Kleenex. It's like through that whole thing, nobody could give her a Kleenex. Are you kidding me?
It's not about her being comfortable. It's like, you got to show them the emotion, Andi. Come on, get it together. They want to see it. You can't be sitting up there being the gang prosecutor.
Terrible.
I applaud her acting coach for getting her to cry on command.
Stop it.
That's our time for today. You can follow us on Twitter at @DidTheLetterU.Watch-It. You can also find us at iTunes. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening.